Hey everybody, Cutroneo here. Welcome to my 5th progress video on Dyens Saudade No. 3. You just heard my first performance of the day a moment ago, and overall I was pretty happy with the performance. There were a handful of things that I decided to work on from that performance. Going kind of in order, the first thing that I decided to work on was I think the biggest thing that I think I started with actually were the left hand only passage. Really trying to clean up and get those notes to come out nice and clear. The hardest part is that A note with the pinky. Doesn't come out as loud as the other ones. So I've been working on that. I don't know if it's necessarily even a strength thing or a speed thing. That note just doesn't speak the same way as all the other ones do, the first string. So that's something interesting of note. Other things that I worked on in this first page in the opening passage, I spent time counting and reinforcing the rhythm starting at the 3rd line. Paying special attention to the triplet sections. In the second triplet section, I sort of realized that I need to push my wrist out way more to get that to come out clear. Otherwise, you can see my hand sort of gets slanted, and the notes aren't coming out as clear. So I really spent time on the shift and really dropping the whole left side of my body, dropping my elbow, and you can see my wrist is pushed out, so that way I get over the top of the guitar. Whoops, where is it? And I'm sort of coming this way to make that happen, to play over the 12th fret. And you know, I kind of thought that I didn't really need to do that because I'm just one fret over on the 13th fret for the third finger, but that really does make a big difference. So I drilled that out a little bit. I'm not sure how successful I was in the performance of that. Again, I think, you know, that with that subtle change, and trying to really keep it rhythmically in check, you know, I just don't think I pushed the wrist out as far enough in the performance. Other things, I worked on the last line with the rhythms, you know, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. And I decided to slow down just a little bit that sextuplet. 3 and a 4 and a 1. 3 and a 4 and a 1, just to bring that in so it sounds like this. Except like that. There we go. So as you can see, it's still not exactly reinforced. It's kind of hit or miss. So, you know, the first page was pretty simple to go through, and I think at this point right now, it's just really finessing the interpretation, especially how all these different sections sort of link up. So I'm conceptualizing it as the first two lines where I end with the tambora. That's sort of the first section. And then I have the start of the melody. Right? That part, and then keeps going, and that sort of ends to this part. Goes through all of that stuff, and I added a finger sweep there, then this, and all of this to there. So that's 3, 4 lines, and then this part. And then finally, and this chord leads into there. And making sure that is clean and comes out. Dynamics in this, a lot of directions that Dyens gives you, so I'm pretty much sticking to what he's written there. I'm not really going to changing too much dynamically of what he has happening. Practice wise, from here on in, it'll just be continuing to define that shape and refine some of the licks in here. So the second page in the first performance, that B theme melody, the second half of it, that whole part had, you know, memory slips in that. So I spent about 10 minutes just singing the letter names of that section and back chaining it to into that. So really just singing the letter names of that whole entire section, just reinforcing it more and more into my brain. For whatever reason, that G sharp doesn't want to stick in my brain. This whole thing is a little tricky to sort of stay there. So that's just something that, you know, I'll be singing the letter names of probably every day for a while until it starts to sink in. Whereas the A theme pretty much stuck after a day of singing the letter names. And I can pretty much rely on that, which is nice. Going through to the dance, you know, the hammer-ons from nowhere section kind of tripped all over that in the initial performance, so my practice was spent there, reinforcing that, and making sure that I could play that. I still haven't gotten to letter names with it yet. I'm still counting and getting the coordination happening there. You know, I didn't change really any fingerings or anything like that. I think I realized that in this part that I don't need to re-articulate the bass note. So that was a little change that I made. I decided to, instead of playing that chord with a flush of the thumb, really using the back of my nails and just give a nice broad as I go through that. I added the rest of it, so I have now completed the whole dance movement, and that provided its own challenges because there's this one spot, and he has a figure like this earlier in this part where there's sort of this slide within that melody. Earlier on in the piece, there's nothing going on with it other than that melody doing that. But then in this last section, he's got this, where that bass, that tango bass is happening, and as I'm playing one, and I've got to combine those two. So that took a little bit of time to get. It's offset beat-wise. So the first time that it comes in, it happens like the original rhythmical figure, but it does include a bass note with the melody. There, the glissando happens with the bass note, and then we have one that happens with a bass note starting it. So that just took me a little bit of time to wrap my head around. A lot of counting of that section. I really haven't done letter names for pretty much the second page, which is the reason why I'm still reading that page. I'm finding that the rhythms are a little bit more important because I need to know when and how to play the notes, and then I can go back and then do the letter names to then work on that. So those are all the things that I had worked on with the piece, and let's now take a listen to the full performance. So as you can see from that performance, the very ending of the new section that I worked on still is a little funky, messing up the rhythm of one measure. Again, just need to work on counting that and working on that. It's a little funky, just rhythmically coordinating with the bass notes and everything, but a little bit of counting, a little bit of focus will take care of that really well. My goal for tomorrow, or what I plan on working on tomorrow, is pretty much just solidifying everything that I've done, and that'll be the 6th day of my practice. Once again, thanks for watching this video update, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and click that bell notification button so that way you are notified every time I release a video. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to write them down below. I'll either address them in the comment section, or I will take a moment and actually talk about it in the subsequent video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.